be as unintrusive as possible. It seemed as though when our speakers were talking, people were kind of chomping at the bit to say things, which is good. We're in quite a small room, so if you're not at the front row, you can probably just kind of project your voice. And it's more of a reminder for myself that you still have Harry shout on the line. You might have to shout if he wants to ask a question. But yeah, if you kind of put your hand up and then we'll kind of go to the audience. Or not. Yeah, you seem, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. See, that's the thing. I would argue that basic income actually does answer all of those things, that it would create a much better environment for co-production, because people, if you didn't actually need your basic income to live on, say you were working on top of that, then you could also pool, communities would be able to pool their money to do their own projects, or to, get, fossil-free energy, that sort of thing. It would actually, to me, it's not a magic bullet for everything, but it certainly would improve things in the short term radically. And it actually does actually bring out people's best instincts to help each other, because it actually it kind of recognizes the kind of work that we do, which isn't paid for, which is actually what we give to each other. I think it would emphasize those things. Rather than otherwise. It is the first step as far as I'm concerned. And the other thing is that it also, I think what you said kind of assumes that all money in the economy, or all taxes come from earned income. And I certainly would argue with basic income, I would argue, and also in fact the whole welfare state really should not be coming from taxes on earned income. It should be taxes on unearned income, whether that's, financial transactions, whether that's, the tax, the stuff that's, squirreled away in tax havens, whether that's dividends, whether that's inheritance, whether that's land value tax, which I'm sure will be brought up at some point tonight. Sorry. And, there's a lot of excess, as I said, with this kind of wages versus productivity difference that's happening. And there's an awful lot of unearned money. There's a lot of money out there which people are getting, which they really have done literally nothing for. So that's certainly what I would target with basic income and with any other services. So.
I would just say one. So just so that when I do talk about the basic income, I have to talk about it personally, just to clear that up. So I think one interesting thing is this whole lack of money. Where's this money going to come from? In our system, yes, a lot of it goes on Social Security, and Malcolm's done some interesting work at trying to say, well, how do we rejig that and repurpose this particular money that's been set aside for Social Security? But there is just so much money in the system that gets wasted on subsidizing both our financial system. So that's something that, if you change the money system, you suddenly remove this need for hundreds of billions of pounds. I mean, we found trillions of pounds lying behind the sofa as soon as they needed it for a bailout, but we can't find 100 billion for this kind of initiative. So the whole lack of money is it's not insignificant. There isn't an infinite amount of money out there, but there is money to be found for what's important and for rejigging, especially some of these huge subsidies that we give industries that shouldn't necessarily be part of our future. We can rejig those. It's not just about repurposing the money that's set aside for Social Security at the moment. There's other things we can raid.
Yeah. Cool.